Welcome to the UW College of Education New Graduate Student Orientation. This session is presented to you by the Office of Student Services here in the College of Education. As we begin our session, I'd like to take time to acknowledge that the University of Washington exists on the native Coast Salish homelands. As UW Huskies, we are all indebted to the native communities who were displaced for our progress, and we remember that always. As we get started, I'd like to take a second to have us introduce ourselves as well. I'll pass it to Matthew.
Hi everyone, my name is Matthew Good, and I'm the Graduate Admission and Outreach Advisor here within the College of Education. My role primarily operates working with prospective students, but we may engage a little bit in our interactions as I continue to do that work.
And hello, I'm Paula Wetterhan. I'm the Associate Director in the Office of Student Services. I work with prospective students as they apply to programs and are ushered through the application and admission process. And I also work with current students closely with Brittany to make sure that things are running smoothly and that degree requirements are met and you are ultimately graduated.
That's right, and my name is Brittany Otemaloy. I'm Assistant Director of Graduate Student Services here in the college. I like to say that I work with students to and through their programs successfully. So as you continue your journey here as a Husky, through every single milestone, whether it's a small one or a large one like graduation, Paula and I will be here with you, and Matthew will be with us along the way, along with a number of other faces that we rely on to do our work. How do we do that work, and what does that look like? I'll share a little bit with you as well. So we exist to support you as you pursue your educational aspirations in the College of Education and beyond. We serve as a welcoming and reliable information source to you, to students, to staff, and to faculty. We provide access to services that you might need as you pursue success in this educational institution. That could be on-campus resources all the way across our campus, and Matthew will share more about that later. And it could also be anything you might need in the college as well. I'll pass it to Paula, who will get going on sharing nooks and crannies about everything you need to know here in the college. We'll get going now.
Thank you, Brittany. So I'd like to talk about first the Graduate Student Handbook. So this is the College of Education Graduate Student Handbook. It's located on the orientation page on the website, and you can download it for your reference. This handbook's a real deep dive, so it has all the information you need to know throughout your program. It will have how-to guides, resources, information about commonly said acronyms in the college, grading resources, and things like that. It's a thorough guide. If you ever have questions, check in with us about that. So as a College of Education student, you are also a student at the University of Washington and a graduate student. So there's various places you will go to access information and interact with offices. First, I'll talk about my CoE, and then I'll talk about my grad. So my CoE is your student portal. You can locate it from going to our website and hovering over my CoE. From there, you can see the most recent information about the coronavirus response in the College of Education, and then you'll find resources for current students. If you click on resources for current students, there you will find information about degree requirements, courses and registration, funding and financial aid, student forms, all the things you need to interact with as you're a student in the College of Education. And I talked about my grad, so you're also a graduate student at the University of Washington, and so there will be some interactions you will take directly with the graduate school. So let's take a look at that page. So my grad program is your portal to interact with the graduate school. So times that this may come up are when you're ready to graduate. As a master's student, you will request your degree there. If you're a doctoral student and you are scheduling a general exam or a final exam, you'll go there as well. There are sometimes petitions you will submit, and you'll go there to submit those. And you can also check on various things that you've submitted. Always check in with us in the Office of Student Services though. Before you interact with this page, we can help you navigate and also provide timelines for when it's appropriate to go here. So next, let's talk about courses and registration. So hopefully at this point, you have registered for your first quarter at the University of Washington, the College of Education. There are a couple guides, places you can go to help you plan out your next quarters. So one of the first things is we have what's called the College of Education Course Planner. The course planner is an internal guide in the College of Education. It's a projection of what faculty plan to teach in any given quarter or even year. And so this is a great place to plan ahead and look into possible courses you want to take as you go through your program. For example, you can filter by quarter and by year, and you can also filter by program abbreviation. So let's look into educational leadership policy studies. And for example, let's go to EdLips 530. So if we click in on that, you can view really detailed information about the enrollment numbers, but also how many credits it's offered for, who's teaching it, what type of grading it is, and when the course is going to meet. You can also read more substantive information about what the course entails, and also if there's any restrictions or ad codes needed. So this course planning tool, it's important to know it's there because it really does help you kind of get a preview of what's going to be taught, like a forecast. It's not a final representation though until it appears in the University of Washington time schedule. The time schedule is university-wide. It's a course listing by quarter of what is available for registration. So you'll see on this page, this was listed for spring and summer and autumn. Typically, the quarterly time schedule gets released about a month before registration starts. So you can narrow in on the Seattle campus and then within the College of Education. And from there, for example, we'll go back to that class, Educational Leadership and Policy Studies, and then go into 530. So these courses are what is going to be taught, and they're available for registration. If you narrow in on the course number, that's also called SLN, Schedule Line Number, you can really drill in on, again, when is it being taught, what type of grading is offered for it, is it standard grading, is it credit, no credit, who is teaching it, and when the course is being offered daily, weekly, bi-weekly, and also the time. Also, it's important to note if any entry codes are required, and if they are, it will provide contact information about how to obtain those entry codes. So when something is in this time schedule, it is available for registration. So we hope that you'll use these two tools to help you plan ahead and ultimately register. Most importantly, though, you'll always want to consult with your faculty advisor who will be very helpful both in course planning and ultimately what you register for to ensure that what you're taking does meet your course of study. All right, so some good to know logistics, some fun facts. The University of Washington operates on a quarterly schedule. So there are 10 weeks of instruction with an 11th week, which is your finals week. In terms of completion, students can really graduate in any given quarter. But there is a once a year commencement ceremony and College of Education reception, and that's in the spring. In terms of minimum credit hours, it's not always required that you're registered full-time unless you need to be full-time. And in those cases, you will know what those are. You're an assistant, you have an assistantship, you're here on a visa, etc. But in terms of minimum credit hours, it's a minimum of 2 credit hours to hold enrollment, and that's what they bill for with tuition on a minimum credit level. And then 10 credits is considered full-time. It is important and necessary as a graduate student that you either maintain registration through the academic year, or for any given quarter you request leave status. And also, just in terms of program distinction, no two students have the same path. And so for any given program, every individual student has their own course of study and degree timeline and path.
So
All
now
right.
we'll turn our attention to some important dates and resources for you as you start the quarter. So September 30th is going to be our first day of the autumn quarter. Late registration fee is $25, so you'll want to stay mindful of that as you register. October 6th will be your last day to add, drop, or change a course in the registration office without being assessed a $20 fee and possible tuition forfeiture. So definitely keep this October 6th date fresh in your mind. So the last day to withdraw at the registration office is going to fall on that same day. The following day, October 7th, will start the late add period here. And December 18th is going to be your last day of the autumn quarter. I want to encourage you guys as you go throughout the quarter, keep tabs on your email inbox as you'll get updates regularly from Paula and Brittany with other important dates or reminders to be made aware of. Now, your success is going to be tied to a lot of your connectedness to the university and specifically the College of Education. There's a list of education listservs that you're welcome to join here to stay connected and achieve those goals. We've got 3 required lists, which you will automatically be placed into at the start of the quarter. These are the General College of Education listservs, as well as the Master of Education and Doctoral listservs. Additionally, you'll have some optional ones that you can join. Ed Life will be a great one in helping find community here within the College of Education with opportunities both socially, educationally, and professionally. You'll have funding opportunities as well for those of you who are looking to secure some additional funding for your program of study. And Black Lives Matter to just stay on top and plugged in with social equity issues within the College of Education and beyond. There's some additional groups on campus that you should be familiar with as graduate students. GoMap, which is our Graduate Opportunity and Minority Achievement Program, provides spaces for underrepresented students, students of color here in the graduate school, and provides spaces both professionally and educationally for them and support. GFIS, which is our graduate funding info service, houses a blog where you can find a lot of additional funding opportunities. The GPSS, which is our Graduate and Professional Student Senate, is the legislative body for the whole university. The College of Education will have 2 senators representing the university, and it's a great way to be involved and advocate for students within the College of Education. I do want to say and highlight there is pre-recorded session about funding opportunities offered through GFIS as well as the graduate school here in the College of Education that you can check out on the resources page on the website. And there are some ways for you to get involved as well. The Office of Student Diversity and Inclusion houses 3 current students in that office, which provide a social, educational, and professional spaces for students within the college, particularly of underrepresented populations, international students, and students of color. Will provide great opportunities at social engagement, educational engagement within the college, and some professional opportunities as well. And then we've got the Associated Students of the College of Education, which advocate a lot for the students within the college. This is a great way to get involved and really bring some matters to attention of the students within the college. And then we've got some social media links that will be provided if you want to dig more into what these services are all about. You can find those links on the resource page as well. And now that we have all of this information, Brittany, would you be able to tell us when a great time is to reach out for some support?
I'd love to. When to reach out for support. It's always a good time to reach out support. In fact, there are no bad questions when it comes to support as well. I'd like to share some reasons why you might want to check in. For one, if you're preparing to complete any major milestone, whether it be reaching prospective candidacy or something larger like participating in research and inquiry, which is the first major milestone for doctoral students, you'll want to check in with myself and maybe with Paula as well, as we will support you in making that happen. If you change status for whatever reason, need to be on leave or take any other status change, you'll want to communicate with us so that we can support you in having that happen smoothly. Also, if for whatever reason you fail to maintain satisfactory academic progress, we're here to support you in those moments as well. It's not always going to be rainbows and sunshine and successes as you move through your journey here in the college. And we want you to know now that in the moments of failure, in the moments of strife, you have a team of folks here to support you in getting you through those moments. If you don't know the answer, always ask. When we don't know the answer, we'll go get it for you. So how can you access student support services? There are a couple ways that we have available to you right away. First and foremost, you all probably are already aware, we're having some orientation Q&A sessions, question and answer sessions. Those will be hosted on September 28th and September 29th in the morning and in the evening hours. Please join us. The Zoom links are available on the orientation page. Also, throughout the quarter and the academic year, we'll have weekly drop-in advising sessions. These are group sessions that occur on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Those sessions are hosted by myself, Paula, and another colleague, Sarah, who you'll engage with a number of times as you make your way through the college as well. Please join us if you have any questions as you move through the quarter. There's no reason to be out of the loop. We're always available to you. And one way to be most available to you is going to be one-on-one student support. I have 30-minute appointments available every day. So please access my calendar, which is available on the orientation webpage as well, and schedule some time to meet. Happy to meet with you. That does conclude our session today in terms of what we have to share. But we also would like to acknowledge that we're not able to be together in the building right now at Miller Hall. And so to make up for some of that, we'll share a little video here that has some visualizations of campus. We'll hopefully encourage you as you begin your journey here as a Husky. So we'll get going. Welcome to the UW College of Education. Go Huskies.